December 11th, 9:42 p.m. The Blackwood Junction Express rattled through a dense, suffocating fog. Only a handful of passengers occupied the train, their faces shadowed by the dim overhead lights. Outside, the world was swallowed by darkness. Inside, the quiet hum of the rails pressed against the senses like a warning. Then, a scream. Sharp. Desperate. It cut through the night like a blade. Every heart on the train skipped a beat. Something had gone terribly wrong. Detective Marcus Vale had boarded at the previous station. He wasn't on duty, but instinct has a way of following a man wherever he goes. The scream drew him through the narrow corridors, past the rattling luggage, and into car 3. There, a young woman sat frozen, eyes wide with horror. Across from her, Lionel Kearney, a man of wealth and influence, lay slumped in his seat, a tiny, fatal puncture in his neck. Vale's gaze swept the car. Calm. Precise. Analytical. "Who saw anything?" he asked. His voice, steady and controlled, held the weight of authority. The passengers hesitated, the silence stretching like a taut wire ready to snap. Several passengers drew Vale's attention immediately. Clara Jennings, a nervous travel writer, fidgeted with her notebook. She had a reputation for digging into secrets. Dr. Elias Monroe, a medical researcher, sat quietly, his eyes calculating, cold. His grants and career depended on Kearney's approval. Greta Rinaldi, glamorous and poised, adjusted her scarf. Rumors of business disputes with Kearney followed her like shadows. Simon Price, a seemingly timid office clerk, avoided eye contact, appearing harmless, yet Vale's instinct screamed caution. Each of them had reasons Kearney's death could serve them. But there was more, subtle signs Vale noticed immediately: the faint scent of expensive cologne in a corner with no one there, smudges on the window, an unclaimed briefcase under a seat. Something, or someone, was hiding in plain sight. Vale moved through the car silently, observing small details others would miss. A shadow flickered along the ceiling. A reflection caught the corner of a polished metal tray. Tiny anomalies, meaningless to anyone else, spoke volumes to Vale. "None of this adds up," he muttered. "The killer is here. They're hiding, yet watching, waiting." He studied the passengers in silence, noting micro-expressions, Clara's hands trembling slightly, Monroe's cold gaze that didn't quite match his body language, Greta's restless foot tapping. Even Simon, quiet, almost invisible, had subtle tells. Minutes passed. The tension became almost unbearable. Every creak of the train, every distant whistle, amplified the unease. Vale's mind pieced together patterns, shadows, movements, scents, reflections. Someone clever. Someone unseen. Someone pretending not to exist. Vale carefully examined the luggage racks. His fingers brushed against something unusual, a collection of wigs, prosthetic makeup, and even a small device designed to distort shadows. The pieces clicked together. The phantom passenger wasn't real. The killer had disguised themselves, used deception, and manipulated perception. Vale's pulse quickened. The train itself felt like a trap. Every carriage could conceal the murderer. Every step could lead to discovery, or danger. He walked slowly back to the suspects, noting their reactions. Clara's eyes flicked toward the overhead rack. Monroe's hand twitched. Greta adjusted her scarf again, a nervous tic she couldn't suppress. Simon. Simon was too calm, almost unnervingly so. Too controlled. Vale addressed the passengers. "Someone here killed Lionel Kearney. I know how. I know why. And I know who." The passengers shifted uncomfortably. Whispered conversation ceased. Eyes darted. The silence was suffocating. Vale's gaze rested on Simon. "Step forward," he said, voice calm but commanding. No one moved. Vale continued, "The phantom is not a ghost. The phantom is someone using cunning, disguise, and shadows. Someone who thought they could hide in plain sight. But I see everything. Simon's calm demeanor faltered for a fraction of a second. That was all Vale needed. All the clues, the shadow device, the wigs, the movements, pointed to him. Vale revealed the pen-like device that delivered the fatal puncture. Your espionage career ends tonight, Simon. You killed Kearney to protect secrets. You thought no one would notice. But I did. Simon's smirk remained, but it was forced. Vale continued. A spy. A master of deception. Invisible to the untrained eye. But invisible only until someone like me arrives. The tension in the carriage peaked. Simon had underestimated Vale. The calm, quiet detective who notices the smallest details. Every smirk, every tick, every reflection had led Vale to the truth. Police arrived at Gatesworth Station. Simon was taken into custody. The other passengers exhaled, shaken but relieved. The phantom passenger, the invisible threat, was gone. Yet the memory lingered, an unsettling reminder of how easily perception can be manipulated. Vale lingered on the platform, watching the empty tracks swallowed by fog. The night was silent again, but it felt different, heavier, colder. He whispered to himself, sometimes the shadows are only as invisible as we allow ourselves to be blind. The train sat idle, steam rising, tracks glistening in the dim station lights. Justice had been served, but danger, deception, and cleverness had left a lingering chill. A lesson, even in plain sight, the truth can hide behind the cleverest disguise. And as the night deepened, Detective Vale walked away, knowing the world is full of phantoms, people who hide in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment. And sometimes, you have to be smarter than the shadows to survive.